Hello everybody, this is Johnny S with another vlog. In today's vlog we're going to talk about something that I found. I hope you can hear me well. I'm trying to keep my voice down a little bit because it's night time and everybody's sleeping. In today's video I wanted to talk a little bit about a trick that I found that might be useful to other people that are trying to do similar content, and it is basically how to remove backgrounds from your videos in order for you to edit them, and whenever you're doing something like this, or whether you're doing something which you're stationary in a room, you want to remove the background, how would you go about doing it? There's many different ways. I'm going to go through them. I don't know if I'm going to put points up. I might put points up, and I wanted to let everybody know, what my thought process was, how I end up stumbling across and finding this thing, how I did it. And basically the previous video which I've uploaded, which was in relation, I think, to a story about my rabbit. On that video, the result that you see is basically via the process that I'm describing now, and the video that you're actually going to watch now is also done by the same process. So there are a couple of challenges, and the reason and what drove me to actually initiate this is usually when you are recording things that are on your background, let's say on your desktop, on your thing, you're trying to use a camera which is like a web camera, which is basically connected to your computer but via some sort of a connection, usually USB, and via via a recording program such as OBS Studio. You're able to record yourself, simultaneously record the desktop and record whatever it is that you want to record. In those cases, you have to use something like a web camera. The problem that I was having is that web cameras, usually the cheap ones, if you're not going to get a very expensive one, the quality is not going to be as good, and the sound is obviously not going to be as good as either. At the moment you can hear me and you can see me from the GoPro, so the sound is much better, the video is much better, and you have full control of how good quality, what is the zooming that you see me now. So I'm recording on linear, which is a much more focused, sort of constrained window, in order to get just me, but with a lot of resolution. Now when you're going to export this, usually on 1080p, the quality is going to drop, but you're getting as much as quality, and not only quality, but a GoPro cannot be compared with a web camera, unless, again, like I said, you spend a lot of money on the web camera. So one of the challenges is, how do I get better quality video? Second challenge is, how do I get better audio in my video? And in order for you to do this, you have to use your GoPro or another different camera. Usually the challenge that you face there is those external cameras, not web camera, they might give you some difficulties when it comes to joining them and connecting them to your computer. The GoPro, as I've mentioned previously, has a functionality where you can use it as a web camera, but on many computers and in many operating systems, after a while that stops functioning, and that can be very stressful, and it can be very annoying when you're recording something and then you're playing it back, and after 5 minutes you realize that it was not recorded. So in order to free your hands from that sort of thing, you need to record your video separately. Now when you're going to do something like a game review, when you're going to do something which is going to need you to have a look at your screen and play, and as you're doing the recording of the screen, you have to actually dictate and iterate whatever is going on those cases, you will need to actually utilize something like a web camera, or something which is going to be possibly situated in such a way that it can make sense. What do I mean by that? If you're going to record a separate video from a camera which is not connected to your computer, therefore it cannot be used as an input source. Pay attention to what I'm saying. I'll try to speak as clear as I can so I can make the video, clear and really let people know how to do it. If it cannot be used as a source and you're going to import that video later, so let's say you have a camera on your left hand side and you're recording, and simultaneously you're playing a game, you're recording yourself from this angle and you're playing from this angle. This camera cannot be used as a source on OBS Studio or any other capturing and recording studio, which means you're going to import the video later. If you're going to import the video later, you have to sort of line them up and sync. And how you're going to sync this, maybe you can do a movement, a sound usually is a good idea, that you can record the sound from here and record the sound from there, and you can match them up. But it is a little bit tricky and it is a little bit more difficult. In those cases, possibly an external microphone is a better use case. And this is something that I might look into the future. Now, when it does not have to do with recording something on the computer screen, and you just want to do a video like I'm doing now, the initial idea was, how do I remove the background? So first challenge, better quality, better audio. Third challenge, how do I remove the background without me having a studio, a green screen and so forth? Most of us, we don't have this. So how do you do that? The idea came of to have a look at different software, and there are some software, some are paid, some are free, but in order for you to keep it much more simpler, let's say, you can utilize something like OBS. Now usually the software which removes backgrounds are software which are capturing software. So OBS Studio is considered a recording software that you can later on utilize an editor or a post-processing program such as Premiere, such as Clipchamp, such as many like that, to edit your video. So OBS Studio in itself cannot be considered an editing software. It is a capturing, it's a recording, it's a streaming software. Meaning that in OBS Studio you cannot say export things. You can just record or stream straight away. That poses a challenge because most of the programs that are able to remove the background are these type of programs. I'm going to call them capturing, recording, in other words, programs. So my initial thought was, can OBS Studio remove backgrounds from a pre-recorded video? So the initial idea is, how do I utilize OBS Studio or a recording software in order for me to remove a background but not live? In other words, no need to use a web camera. Take a camera, a GoPro, go to an outside location, good lighting, peace and quiet, lock yourself up in a room with whatever behind you and just record yourself separately without giving a fuck of being on my computer and everything. Take that video, and this is the process that I followed. Take that video. Usually GoPros are going to break the video in 5-minute segments, and OBS Studio does not have, like I said, the capability of a post-editing program, so you're not going to be able to easily put one part of the video, join to another, join to another, join to another. You can do it through scenes, but in order for me not to keep this video complicated, I'm going to say the process and I'm going to state as simple as I can. The first step is to record the video from your GoPro, like I'm doing at the moment. I'm going to record this video, and let's say then you're going to have 4 separate 5-minute videos. Take those 4 separate 5-minute videos and put them in a program such as Clipchamp, Premiere, or whatever program you have. Join them together and then export that video. So you end up with one video. That one video is going to be one of your sources. You then need to import that video as a source into OBS, and then in OBS you can actually apply the virtual background, the background removal and the virtual background management, let's say, and it does not have to be a recording at that moment. It can be an actual source which you have pre-recorded, so that works, and that's how I did it. So I imported the video, I removed all the background from behind, as you can see, from that video, which was pre-recorded, and on the OBS Studio I inserted a virtual background, the one that you're seeing at the moment, which is like a nice, more relaxed, let's say Japanese rainy sort of balcony. So you add the video that you want afterwards, and now you have something which can be played over on a platform which is again a recording platform. So then there's a final step, because once you have all these in OBS Studio, and you can use other programs and stuff, you cannot export it, you have to record it. So then once you have all this up and ready, you hit record in order to start recording the video, and you hit play, and your video will start playing, and it will record at the moment whatever is happening. Now, one hint and a piece of advice here that I did wrong. I did all that I mentioned. I done everything properly and perfectly. I started recording on OBS Studio, and then I minimized the window. I thought to myself, let it record those 10, 15, 20 minutes, let it record with the virtual background, and as it's doing that, I'm going to surf the net. So I was watching a YouTube video. When I actually played the video back, because OBS by default is able to record the desktop sound, it was recording my video with the virtual background as I was speaking, minimized, and as I was playing YouTube, it was recording the audio from the YouTube as well as a source, because it's a capturing program. So you gotta be careful when you're recording. You gotta shut down all the other sources, especially on the audio. On the video, it's quite visible because you put your video and the virtual background. You only go to, you can see too, so you know what it's recording. You're not screen sharing, you're not capturing the screen. But on the audio, sometimes you might forget the desktop as a source, so you gotta mute everything and make sure you have only the media that you're using, your audio. You hit record, you let it play the video. Once the video goes to the end, it will stop playing, and then you stop recording. You take that recording from the OBS Studio, because it only has the capability to do a recording. You take it and then you put it back again in editing software. You can put titles, you can put music, you can do whatever you want. So you put it again on a post-it in the program. I know it's a little bit of a confusing thing, but I'll try to keep it as simple as I can, and I might put things as points out. So first, record anywhere, edit, join. I'm gonna call it edit, join, fine tune, combine, whatever. Then import and do all the removal process. So record, edit, import to a program such as OBS and everything. Do all the removal process, and then record again. So record again, but be careful when you're recording what you're recording. Once you do that, final step, import it again on an editing software such as Premiere, and set up your whole scene. Once you're done, export and you're finished. Okay, so that's it, guys. I just want to let everybody know what I did, how I did it. It was a good thing. My initial thought was, how do I utilize a program that is able to remove backgrounds? And usually those programs are capturing programs. You might be able to do it on YFX, if you have Premiere, for example, something. But when you're using simple programs like open software, such as Clipchamp, freeware, things like that, they don't have a lot of capabilities such as Premiere. If you go Premiere, it's like all DaVinci or something, which is much more professional, let's say, and you've paid and you've bought it and everything. Then you have obviously capabilities to do many more things. You can play with filters, you can play with many things. But if you want to do it a nice, easy, simple way, then what I will say is utilize something like OBS and Clipchamp or any other free sort of software. But you will have to go back and forward. There is a kind of like a painful process of actually importing, joining, re-recording and everything. But yeah, you can do it, and you don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to spend a lot of money on an expensive web camera, on an external professional microphone, on a studio, on a green screen, on all these things. You can do it, and the result of what you see now, again, it's not professional, like I said, but nevertheless, it's quite good, and it's quite close to being able to do something that some other guy on the studio will have been able to do. So yeah, this is what I've learned so far. And I just wanted to share it to everybody. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got any questions, leave a comment below. I'll try to keep my eye out and answer to, anybody as best as I can. So, thank you very much, everybody, and have a good night. Goodbye.